Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan Yang, your host. I'm really excited to be bringing on my next guest on the show. Her name is Michelle Lee, and Michelle is currently a student at College of St. Benedict. She's a junior, and she's studying creative writing, and she's also a candidate for the Holman Prize. Michelle, thanks so much for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And Michelle, really quickly, and we'll go over it in more detail soon, but could you just really briefly explain what the Holman Prize is?
Well, the Holman Prize is a prize that is organized by James Holman, and it is given out by Lighthouse for the Blind in San Francisco, California. And there's many lighthouse associations around this United States to help out people who are blind or low vision, but the one that is giving out is the one in San Francisco. And it is given out to 3 people around the world who are blind or visually impaired, so they can achieve their dreams. And it's a prize money of $25,000.
Wow, and what do the winners do with that money?
They can do with whatever they want with the money, but they just don't give it out to people who just wants to use it for maybe student loans or just everyday expenses.
And what are the qualifications for the Holman Prize?
You have to be documented as legally visually impaired or fully blind in your country, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. So obviously for our viewers out there, you're considered legally blind in our country, right?
Yeah.
And what is that definition, by the way? I'm just kind of curious in America.
Well, there's people who have not perfect 20/20 vision, and they're considered visually impaired. But some of those people can still drive cars and everything. And then there's the definition of visually impaired, and there's definition of fully blind, or legally blind, depending on what country you're from. It just means you can't see anything. Basically, if you do not have perfect 20/20 vision, then you are considered visually impaired.
Okay, and for you fall on that legally blind side, is that correct, and not visually impaired? So could you tell us a little bit about your background, Michelle? Where were you born?
I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Awesome. And in your video, and for those of our viewers who aren't familiar, I'll post a link up to your video, the video about you being a candidate for the Holman Prize. You mentioned in your video that you lost your sight at the age of 14. Is that correct?
Yeah, I lost my sight at the age of 14, but I was born with glaucoma. And I struggled with glaucoma for the first 14 years of my life. I always had thick glasses because I didn't have perfect 20/20 vision. I had frequent trips to the doctor's office because glaucoma affects the pressures in your eyes. And when my eye pressures would get up too high, it would hurt a lot. And so I would have to basically miss school and go to a doctor or go get new medication or new surgery.
And at the age of 14, when you lost your sight, what was that like for you, Michelle?
It was super rough.
Yeah.
I remember it started the last few months of my when I was 13. And I was in 8th grade, and it's just one day my eyes just started hurting a lot. And so it felt like it was very swollen and very hot. And so I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that my eye pressures were around 48 to 50, which is really, really extremely high because normal eye pressure is probably below 18. And so I remember a lot of pain. I missed a lot of school. I changed from medication to medication, and I did some laser eye surgeries, but nothing seemed to help. And it was just kind of in a span of a couple months. And they couldn't really, because there's no permanent cure for glaucoma, so they couldn't really help me. So my vision just sort of started declining, and it was really hard because all my classmates in 8th grade remember me as being able to see, and then when I came back for freshman year in high school, it was just all gone.
Wow. Now, throughout high school, what were some of the things or there people in your life that really kind of helped you to kind of get through high school, kind of with that transition? And I can't imagine how difficult that must be, but you're a college student now, which is so awesome. And what were some of the things that helped you get through high school?
I think a big thing that helped a lot was my vision teacher.
Mm.
I started learning Braille in 5th grade, but just because the doctors in the school thought that maybe I should get prepared. And I remember hating to learn it at first because it was like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
I can still read books.
Yeah.
I can still write on the computer and everything. But when my vision started to go, it was just like, okay, maybe I really do need it. And I've been seeing the same vision teacher since I was in 5th grade, and he's amazing. But I really didn't start listening to him and like taking his advice about learning assistive technology or learning more Braille until that freshman year.
Yeah.
So because I didn't learn until really start to learn more in freshman year, it was hard for me to kind of keep up with all my schoolworks and everything too. So I learned really, really hard and really fast, and he was the one who pushed me a lot. He helped me discover programs that would help me, like state services for the blind, and what is it called? Transition programs over the summer, and it teaches like people who are low vision and blind to be more independent, so they can do like navigating, just walking around neighborhoods, or laundry and cooking and going to college. And he like, whenever I had one of like my depression fit moments, I would talk to him, and he would just tell me that, I could have had it worse because there are some people who are born with no vision at all. And I understood that, and I just really thought about it, and he just really made me keep my head up, telling me that just because I couldn't see no more, it didn't mean that my life was over.
And that's so awesome. I think that's a huge encouragement to hear that there are people like that, and I'm glad that it was extremely helpful for you. And I'm curious, as you transition to college, what was that like, moving from high school, which is totally kind of a different feel, I'm sure, from college for you, and how did you transition to college, and what's like being a college student who's blind so far as a junior at St. Benedict?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people think that I might have it easier because, like professors give me extensions to do things. And I feel like wherever I walk around on my campus, like people see me walking with security escort or walking with my friends, and I either have my service dog, or I have my cane, or I'm just holding on to somebody. And I feel like some people think that, oh, she has help all the time.
Yeah.
She doesn't need us. She has help all the time. Like, her work for classes aren't as hard as ours. But that's not true. I have to work twice as hard because I have to get digital versions of everything.
Yeah.
And because I have a scanning program that scans everything into like a Word document for me so I can read it. And the hard thing is, if there's images in there, if I scan it, it messes the whole thing up. So it doesn't work well. So I have to work extra hard and talk with my professors and saying, no, I need just Word formats of everything.
Right.
No pictures, no graph, no charts.
Right.
And it's really, all the professors at St. Ben's it's St. John's too, because it's a brother-sister school.
Oh, okay.
All the professors there are extremely nice, and I love the English department. And they always give me extra time, and plus I work a lot with disability services on campus. So whatever I can't get they try to get for me. Like some of the books I couldn't get off the audiobook website.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go physically buy the book and cut it up and scan everything and send it back to me.
So you have to receive all of your the texts and all of your assignments, everything like that has to be digital because you need to hear it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you said you're studying creative writing. How did you end up with that, and what motivated you to want to study creative writing above all the other things you could study?
Well, when I started to lose my sight, it was writing that I got really into because
Mm-hmm.
I would like write in a journal all my thoughts and all my just depressing thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I didn't really realize it, but as a kid too, I loved writing stories. And then when I got to high school, I did 2 years of journalism, and I wrote some stories in the high school paper. And writing was also my highest on my ACT.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually didn't go into college thinking I was going to be a creative writing major.
Okay.
I actually went in as a psychology major.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But like 3 weeks into my first year of college, I switched because I realized this is really not for me.
I see.
And then I switched to communication, but it has a lot of like public speaking, and it's more on the business side.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I took a creative writing class again because I was like, I loved it in high school. And then I took the class with my first ever English professor, and I realized I loved it. And she told me that I really have a gift for writing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she said that she believes that I have a real talent in writing because of the fact that I can't see, so I put more descriptions and things.
Right.
So that's when I finally decided to change my major for a third time and did English creative writing.